Okay, then it's time for Real Recap episode 2. We've been waiting to do this one for a while. We've been busy with travel and other events. But yeah, glad to be doing this with Purvi Sardar, avid movie watcher and keen observer of the art. So let's get started, Purvi, with the movie we just watched yesterday, Ghost in the Darkness. Some of
Yeah,
you may already know about this, but yeah, Purvi, I'll let you take it away.
yeah, I think it was a very interesting movie. So it is actually a 1996 Stephen Hopkins movie. It's based in the 1800s in Africa. So Africa at that time was under the British Empire. So yeah, be prepared for some cringe colonial conversations where you have lines like, save Africa from the Africans and
Yeah.
you know and also there's this burning evangelic desire throughout the film. So there is some heavy colonial gaze, but of course it's only apt because the movie was made at that time. um, you know but I think over here the Val Kilmer is the protagonist, and ladies, he's quite fetching. Okay, so it's going to be very difficult for you to get your eyes off him. He's as wild, as rugged, and as determined as the two deadly lions who have actually taken over this region called Savo in Africa, taken over by fear. They've been killing and eating, in fact, devouring laborers who've been working on building a bridge commissioned by the British Empire. And Val Kilmer is here to build the bridge, and also he kind of becomes the savior for this particular tribe and the laborers there, as he also starts attempting to kind of hunt down these lions that have gone rogue and kill them. After a couple of unsuccessful attempts, he's joined by another experienced hunter, played by a very popular actor, which will be a surprise, and you will find out once you watch it. But I think fear over here is shown very interestingly. Actually, the person who, I mean, uh, the creator of the fear is actually not shown, which is actually makes you feel the fear very intensely. So I think that Kishore should really talk about, because camera work is very interesting on that front.
No, I think pretty much what you said. Like, I think the way, see, in a movie like this made in 1996, of course, there's not too much technology, I mean, compared to now, to kind of enhance emotions and, um, make things a little surreal and very, very intense. So I think what they did, what amazed me most and impressed me was what they did with the technology they had. They didn't max out in terms of production. You can see that, but you could still see and feel all the emotions. Like for example, shooting stalking from the lion's point of view.
Mm.
Like you don't even need a lion to do that,
Mm.
but that was more than enough because the lions in question here are not the normal lions who hunt on their prey for food, for survival, but they've been hunting humans for pleasure,
Mm.
and that is the whole scary, menacing part of this. And when day turns to night, no matter how many men or women or human beings are around, these predators are equipped to see better, to run
Mm.
better, and yeah, I mean they are also physically equipped to really strike and yeah, they're more often than not when they're this motivated in a menacing way. I think that that menacing attitude was shown really well. Cinematography, as well as how simple they kept the sets. Everything is still very
Mm.
realistic.
Mm.
No, it's not very set driven. So you still see the savannah. The shots which stood out for me were always the the blades of grass, and you just see a shimmer of the lion here because that is how it is in probably a very very natural depiction of the
Yeah.
fear, the terror of the lion, and
Yeah.
how it can disguise itself.
Yeah.
That was done brilliantly. So just to draw a comparison, I saw a trailer of a movie, Indian movie called Roar of the Sundarbans, which is apparently about a man eater. I
Mm.
didn't go ahead to watch the movie because the trailer itself was written pretty poorly, in my opinion. And when you compare something like that to this 1996 movie, you really appreciate how well they made this, because even from the trailer, I could make out that things were not really deeply written or researched. Like, for example, the antagonist is a white tiger. White tiger has not been documented in the last 60, 70 years. It's mostly a result of inbreeding. So, there, you already lose the realistic touch. And the writing was very poor, very white and black. Whereas here, there's so many grays. Like, there's tension between the white man and the laborers from India and Africa, and also, I mean, as a person who loves wildlife, I couldn't help but also root for the lions at one point. So it was nice to have that.
Yeah, even I was doing that. I was like, oh my god, run, run. He's almost got you. He's going to shoot you now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's very interesting to watch this movie now because there's been a lot of talk about coexistence between wildlife and man, right? So, infrastructure building, habitat loss, and also tribes who for generations have lived in forest areas and how they've coexisted. So, which of course the very big example is how the Maasai tribes have coexisted with lions and other wildlife there. But here, something else is at play. There's
Yeah.
is and there's also I think a subtle hint or a messaging. So they keep telling Val Kilmer, okay, the lions have come here for you. So it's almost like maybe also trying to attack this very colonial acquisition, where he's come there to build a bridge and kind of own this land, and you have this deadly duo trying to say that this is ours and don't come here. I mean, just a subtle subtext maybe. But yeah, I think it was a killer movie to watch.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and I thought I like the part about the how they became sort of like a mythical legend also, because some people kept saying they're not lions,
They're evil.
they're
They're
devils,
devil.
they're evil. So it clearly became larger than life, like the whole Kala Bandha type of film. So
Yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
became a manner of and the fact that everything was based on true events is amazing.
Yeah.
As you said, it has a colonial gaze because the protagonist is set in a time where all this is happening. But fair enough, I think one has to understand the context of it. Cool. I mean,
Yeah.
I recommend that for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. And also there is look out for this one of India's
Yeah.
finest actors is also there in this movie. He plays a very small role, but you wouldn't want to miss him in this movie. So yeah, do catch it whenever you can.
Yeah, and fun fact, in Rotten Tomatoes, the movie has just scored about 51%, which surprised me because I usually go by that. But yeah, I would definitely rate it higher. Anyway, moving on from 1996 to 2025, we
Yeah.
caught a recent Tamil movie called Tourist Family. You may have heard it. I heard it in word of mouth as well as saw it, happened to see it on Hotstar. Tourist Family is more of an ensemble kind of movie where the whole family is kind of like a protagonist because everything centers around them. But yeah, I'll let you dig into the details and find out what you like or
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah, so after a long time, I think we watched a feel good family movie. And I think this was a good make. It's actually based on this family who has left Sri Lanka because of their political crisis and they seek refuge here in India, in Tamil Nadu. And, they're kind of hiding or they're in disguise because they're refugees, basically illegal refugees. And they are I think it's a very traumatic, stressful situation that they are in. But I love the way comedy kind of finds its way in this situation. And the one to look out for, or the one who steals the show, is the youngest in the family,
Yeah.
and his name is
Mulli.
Murli, right? So, and that's played by Kamlesh Jagan, this child actor,
Yeah,
and
he's a
he's
firecracker.
amazing. Yeah, he's a firecracker. He's amazing. And of course, you have Yogi Babu and you have Bhagwati
Perumal.
Perumal, in the movie, which again adds to this comedy mix, and it's a nice light laugh riot. I think what I loved about this movie is that it's the timing of this movie is very interesting. The world is a witness to a raging refugee crisis, and it kind of begs to ask you the question, what is home really, right? So is it your motherland where your birthplace, where your past is anchored, but your future is in limbo, or is it a new country where you have the second chance, where you get a fresh start, where you have one place where you're born and this is the other place where you're reborn. And here the neighborhood and the community make you feel at home, right? So, and there's also a bit of the language here, the dialects, and how language kind of connects people, which is also interesting to see now that the language is dividing people. But here it's shown differently. So I think it's a very warm, heart heart wrenching film.
Yeah, and I like the fine balancing act that they played between, striking the emotional chord, but not just harping on that and stretching it so they keep tugging at that. So the humor was, after a long time, I saw the humor or comic relief in the movie used very organically, where it adds to the script. It's not there like, okay, here comes the joke because the movie has become
Yeah,
tense,
yeah,
which
yeah, 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 yeah.
was a trope back in the 90s, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
that's what I liked, and I know there are some movies like, for example, I know we were discussing about May Aragon, which starred Arvind Swamy and Karthi, which yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with Purvi's take on that. That though it was well received, I think it was a hit as well. Both of us, I think it was a little high in terms of the emotions, like heightened emotions for our liking.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think there, I did feel like if they had balanced it, I would have liked it more, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, but also I think movies and plots also play to, it's localized to the community that they are representing. I think American, where it was shot, the community, the
Yeah.
place, the everything over there. I think maybe they are emotionally charged, and uh, there is a place for very heightened melodrama, etc., etc. So that really didn't work uh, for me, and I think to some extent you
To some
also.
extent, I think I like the idea because the whole idea of that he's just
Yeah.
struggling to find his name.
Yeah, and
But
then yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
circling
Coming
back
back to
to Tourist Family, I think what I liked was that where it was balanced well. Humor, I think that's how we tend to look at humor in life as well.
yeah,
It
yeah,
lightens. You can have a laugh even amidst the most chaotic moments,
yeah.
traumatic moments, and
Yeah, like there's this scene where this the elder son in the family, he talks about his heartbreak, and when they left Sri Lanka, he had a girlfriend, and recently now she's gotten married to someone else, and you would expect this to turn into a sob fest, but it takes a complete U-turn,
yeah.
and there's something extremely hilarious that comes out of it, but that's for you to watch.
Yeah. So that's the second movie, and quickly moving on to the final one, and maybe our least favorite out of the stuff we
Yeah,
watched recently, which is what is it called? Aap
Aap
Jaisa
Jaisa
Koi?
Koi.
Yes, this stars Madhavan and Fatima Sana Sheikh. Both of those work I generally like, and I think they look good together as well here. This is an OTT, straight to OTT movie, and we have been looking forward to it from just the promos, I think,
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
there's been such a lack of this romance kind of
Yeah,
genre.
yeah, and we kept looking. 11th July is
Yeah.
release. Okay, when is 11th July? Okay, it's going to come next week. And it's always nice to see him. We are huge Madhun fans. It's always nice to see him on screen.
And also, what was refreshing from the just the teasers was that someone is playing their age.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I think middle-aged love stories never grow old,
yeah.
right? We want to see more and more of it. I think the modern love series really
Yeah.
explored that genre, and it was the stories that came out of that were absolutely
Yeah.
fabulous. Some of them, at least. So we expected something, maybe which could keep us interested, enticed. In these two people who are in their middle ages, and one of them, the protagonist, of course, Madhavan, who is 40 something year old virgin, and he is desperately finding a soulmate, and he finds it in this progressive Bengali French teacher, right? So there's this nice meet cute which takes place, and he charms her with his innocence and naivety about sex, about women, and stuff like that, and she charms him with the notion of having, equal love or equality in life, right? And completely mitigates all the insecurities he has, insecurities about women, profession, physique. So there was, when it started, actually it started with those there was very light humor around, how he has a very machismo kind of macho kind of brother who kind of does,
stereotypical male
lifts
that,
weights and has this aggressive real estate business, and asking this Sanskrit professor to kind of join him in the business. And he's also, when he enters the metro, he has his paunch out, so he puts it in. So all these things, there's nice light humor to it, but somewhere all this gets lost again in patriarchy, talking about patriarchy and challenging gender stereotypes. No problem with challenging patriarchy. I think women have been subjected to so many misogynistic households for decades and decades. So this is going to come out in wherever it can. But it's just that I think it was too preachy. It was overused. It's been.
It was sort of felt a little contrived because for me, I mean, this is just me. When I watch a movie, and when this rings stronger than the actual core of the movie, then you really feel like the core didn't have strength, so you remember all the other things.
Correct.
Because when the core is strong, even if it's slightly breezy, you'll watch it, I feel. Because, like, for example, I was never rooting for the couple. I was like, okay, they're getting together. First half I was with them. And then there is a small, this is not a spoiler, of course, there's a small altercation where I really didn't feel, since Madhavan was presented as a protagonist, I didn't have enough of a connection with him, though he's done his job. I think it's in the writing to root for this. I was indifferent to what would happen, so which shouldn't ideally happen in a romantic movie.
I think somewhere the plot just got lost. There's lack of substance, not knowing where to go from there, kind of thing. And there's also on the side there is another middle-aged sort of love blossoming, and I felt that was too forced. Just to kind of defy these misogynistic notions in their household, to kind of challenge this, macho husband in the house, and so it kind of really was kind of force-fed and didn't add any value to the entire story.
I mean, in fact, I've forgotten about that. So that's
that just says.
But on the contrary, you should talk about that scene which we really remember.
So one scene that was actually hilarious was where both of these families, they have this altercation, right? Something doesn't go along with both of them, and they come to fight with each other. So you would be expecting like a war of words and stuff like that, but they show it extremely differently. Like it's unexpected the way they show it.
I like that.
And you should that's a good scene. That's a nice.
That's quite creative.
Yeah.
And I would say I also thought the BGM was nice. Something different from where every soundtrack is kind of sounding similar in the mainstream. I think at least that sounded, it had a little bit of a charm.
Some of the songs are really good, and I think some frames, with both of them, they look pretty good to, with each other. Like Fatima Sana Sheikh and Madhavan, they actually are very nice, good looking, cute couple. But somewhere that chemistry, especially when these at the bits of the altercation, or when they have arguments, or where tough topics are being discussed or something, there you kind of see the chemistry completely off. And I also feel because those parts were not written well, so it could also be that. But this really started off pretty, with a big promise. Because I really feel in mainstream cinema, we don't see much of the insecurities of the men being highlighted at the center. Right. I think the last movie which was like this was Bala. Ayushmann Khurrana's,
correct. I think there were a couple of movies which spoke about receding hair.
it's nice to see it now again. This guy who's trying to find love, and in the most innocent and
Yeah.
honest way possible. He's not changing himself
Yeah.
to find love. He wants to find someone who likes him the way he is, and this earnestness somewhere is yeah. It begins with this nice promise of an earnest and love story, but somewhere later
It
gets completely
meanders,
lost.
and yeah, I think the impact just went away. But anyway, I mean, these things happen, I guess. So that was our take on that. And yeah, I mean, we have some movies lined up, some watches in the theaters, as well as some things we're looking forward to in the OTT. So we'll probably hit you next time with another episode. But yeah, thank you.
Stay tuned.
Bye
Bye.
bye.